Welcome back to Primary Source China Investment. This week, we're talking about sector returns on the mainland. Peng Guo and I have talked about this a lot, and we're not going to break any new academic ground talking about the varying returns of sectors, but it's instructive to see what's been happening within the larger indexes and see what sectors have been performing, because as we talk about every week, returns matter. We've always maintained on this show that a straight investment into Chinese equity is simply not attractive. On a risk-adjusted basis, you are taking too much risk. You cannot blithely buy an index, wait around a number of years, and be rewarded. You'll be taking on too much risk. You need to be, dare I say, a little bit more active. We've advocated for taking a simple asset allocation approach and buy some fixed income, China fixed income, along with your equity allocation to decrease that volatility. We've also spent a good amount of time bashing the large China tech, previously traded in New York and more recently traded in Hong Kong. I will say rightly so. So today I'm going to start the show off and ask Peng Guo a little bit of trivia. If you had to guess, what is the best performing sector year to date? And without looking, I'm going to give you a choice of
technology, that's no doubt.
Okay,
because everybody is talking about the digital China, digital world. You will see this hot topic. There's no doubt that this sector will get boomed.
So that's exactly what I would have guessed, and I started to put the numbers together. And tech is a little bifurcated, right? There's sort of new tech and what I'll call like old sleepy tech. And it turns out that old sleepy tech is the one that's the best performer, and the second best performer is infotech. And we're going to get into that a little bit. Peng Guo, why don't you talk a little bit more about what you mean by tech?
I think this is what I want to talk about it. Because firstly, traditionally, we use like the MSCI GIGS classification and the FTSE ICB, and in China, they will use two large security companies classification as well as the CRSC classification. But in my personal opinion, those kind of things as lag the sector classification in the market. Because of the companies, they do the different business, they mix each other. If you don't classify companies in the right sectors, it will be hard to capture the return. Sometimes it should more like the theme classification. So people really want to invest in by certain kind of the theme. Like the old one, they used to be like internet related.
Yeah,
like the Baidu, Sohu, and some Sina. This is the first generation. But right now they will get moved to the totally different. They call like the hard tech. They manufacture chips, high-end some manufacturer stuffs. So even like the airplanes, satellite. So those kind of things, they also mixed together. It's developed so quickly. I don't think the current companies have a good classification for those sectors. Even we always talk about the tech. Everybody knows the different means.
Yeah, so I was looking at that difference. And on the mainland, they have, for the CSI 300, they have information technology, and they have what's called communication services. And I thought it would be instructive to look at these names in communication services. And we can go one by one. And these are largely mature SOEs, been around, have massive balance sheets, employ thousands and thousands of people. So the first one is China Unicom. And if you want internet service, you are a customer. Similarly, the next name is China Telecom. And if you want a mobile phone, you are a customer. Also, if you are a tech company and want to be in the cloud, gaming, payments, and on and on and on businesses, you are a customer. So this is the backbone of the China internet. Third is what you're talking about, which is ZTE, and ZTE's been around forever. They were not necessarily known as a large tech company or even a leading one, but they make a lot of the devices for the internet interconnectivity. The next name on this list in terms of weighting is Focus Media. This is an ad company, one I found particularly annoying in the back of every cab, but I digress. The next one, called Unisplendor, probably better known as the Tsinghua Group, is a hardware, firmware, and consulting firm in the IT space. Again, big name, been around a long time. Next up on the list, China Mobile is the competitor to China Telecom and really China Unicom. And like you were saying, Peng Guo, all these companies are in the same business now. They are all competing against each other. Granted, there's only a couple of them, but this goes to the point where if you want to be in the tech business, you have to be a client of these large names, right?
That's exactly right. So this, I just saw that there's a Pentech ETF. This is the largest growth ETF in China, probably absorbed 23 billion for this year. So it's very impressive. So you will see the money flow into certain area pretty quick.
Yeah. You know, this sector year day's up 36%. That's a pretty massive move. Just, you know, let me blast through the last few names here. Sanxi is a name we've talked about before. It's a gaming company. The 5-year chart of this name is not for the faint of heart, as the crackdown in gaming really hurt the company, but it's been steadily climbing back. Yealink, which is up 15% on Friday, can best be described as an all-in-one video conference solution provider, maybe better known as its Chinese name, Yilian. Next one is Mango Excellent. Besides an excellent name, it's an online TV content provider. Think about like YouTube TV. And finally, Zhejiang Century Huatong Group is a kind of throwback company, does a number of unrelated things from auto parts to gaming to cloud. The chart reflects that lack of focus. So the reason we blast through these names today, and Peng Guo, I don't want to tell people go out and buy these names, but people should be aware that these are the leading names in this tech space in China. It's not necessarily what you mentioned at the outset, that Baidu's and the Sogus and those kind of names that have existed.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's totally different. So I think right now people realize those definition, but I think in the market, most of the investors is very confused. So they really don't understand what they are buying, what's the underlying.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And you know, I had a conversation earlier this week with a securities company on the mainland, and I said we don't have a product problem in China. I've been saying this for more than a decade. China has many products. It's not the absence of a product. It's the absence of the understanding of the individual names that are in that product. And that's where, you know, clients really throw their hands up, and particularly foreign clients. If you just want to get a 5% allocation to China, you have no idea what you're owning. And that's why on this show, we try to bring some of those names to the people and try to tell people exactly what these companies are doing.
Yeah, that's right. And also we do some classifications of internal, like it's really based on the sector and as a class. So it's different from the traditional one, but we think that is more helpful, at least for us, to understand how many sectors in this market.
You will get multiple answers. For example, real estate and financials. That's a combined, usually a combined sector. So, you know, are those?
Yeah, this is also, I want to talk about it. This one definitely need to be split in the multiple one. For example, like right now, infrastructure ETF. This have probably around 15% for this year, based on the policy and mining policy, as well as other big projects get started. So this is best perform sectors in this year. But overall, real estate, I see the bank. So it's also, so it's not impressive. Yeah, before you do any investment, you can contact us to figure out which sectors you really want.
You have to do your homework. I mean, that's what we're doing a little bit.
We can help you do the homework. Yeah. And people easily can do those kind of things. You cannot grab the gates and figure out what you want.
I think we're going to leave it there this week, Peng Guo. Thank you.
Thank you
for tuning in for show R4, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, we're off.